So, for my first proper video of 2024, I thought what better way to start the new year than with a rant. Back in November, I made a video talking about the 2003 WRC season, link in the card on the top right if you are interested. At the beginning of the video, and also at the end of the video, I mentioned how WRC wasn't in a good place at the moment, and this was down to three things. One being that the WRC from 2004 was having periods of domination from certain drivers, another being that the championship on most occasions was not very close or exciting to watch, and the third reason being that the series was struggling to attract manufacturers, with there only being three in the championship in the form of Toyota, Hyundai and Ford, although mainly M Sport, as Ford only provide half the backing to the British-based team. However, it seems the FIA and WRC promoter, which is the company that looks after the commercial rights of the sport, like what FOM and Liberty Media do for F1, have given the fans more reasons to turn their back on the sport. One of these reasons being that in 2024, there are only 6 full-time drivers competing this season, with the other 5 drivers who are confirmed only doing a part-time schedule. One of those being reigning champion Kalle Rovanperä, who despite a certain someone saying it was highly unlikely that he would go part-time in 2024, ended up doing the thing I said he wouldn't do, although he is scheduled to do a full-time schedule again in 2025. However, the main reason that the FIA and WRC promoter have given for potentially turning fans away is the new point system that they have implemented, which in my opinion is the worst point system I have ever seen implemented in any series, arguably worse than NASCAR's current point system. So, let's take a look at this nonsense. But first, a backstory to how we got here. Since 1997, the championship has followed the same point system that Formula 1 has used, as before then and up until the first ever championship in 1973, the series had used its own point system. Anytime Formula 1 had a change to its point system, which was in 2003 and 2010, WRC also followed them in that change. And since 2010, the series, like with F1, has used the traditional top 10 point system, with first place receiving 25 points all the way down to 10th, who would receive 1 point. However, a year later, in 2011, the FIA introduced the Power Stage, which is a stage in the rally, usually the last stage, where drivers can earn themselves some extra points. When it was first introduced, only the 3 fastest drivers were awarded points from the Power Stage, with the fastest receiving 3 points, the second fastest receiving 2 points, and the third fastest receiving 1 point. However, in 2017, this was increased to the fastest 5, with the fastest receiving 5 points and the 5th fastest receiving 1 point. However, with WRC going through a spell of dominant periods, which combined with the top 10 point system that in a way aided domination compared to the old top 8 and even top 6 point systems, it was felt for a few years that the WRC needed a revamp, and not just with the cars. Hyundai driver Thierry Neuville was the most vocal about it throughout 2023, stating that the WRC in his opinion needed to re-energise itself, not only to attract new manufacturers, but also to put more eyes onto the sport, as for many years, WRC's viewing figures had not been great. And it seemed the FIA agreed with this, as the sport's governing body was looking for ways to try and quote-unquote re-energise the series, like what Thierry Neuville mentioned back in May 2023. However, it seems the FIA, along with the WRC promoter, who also would have had a say in this, have managed to do the complete opposite of what Thierry was saying, and has actually done more to turn people away than lure them in. On the 16th of December 2023, the FIA published the WRC sporting regulations for 2024, and in it contained a new point system. And it's safe to say that it left people confused, disappointed, angry, and just as perplexed as Sauber's FIA entry list name. So what is this new point system, I hear you ask? Well, this is it on your screen right now. As you can see, it is still the top 10 that get points. However, this time, first place only receives 18 points, second place receives 15, third place receives 13, with it going all the way down to 10th place, which receives only 1 point. Now you may be watching this video saying, JW, what is wrong with this point system? It doesn't look bad to me. If anything, it makes the points gap more closer and should hopefully give us a closer championship. And you would be right, on face value it doesn't look too bad. However, what if I told you that these points are Saturday points?
Huh?
Basically, wherever you end up on the overall leaderboard at the end of Saturday, you will receive the corresponding amount of points. However, you will only receive those points if you finish the rally, which is usually on a Sunday unless any unforeseen circumstances happen. So you could end up having a terrible Sunday, but still finish the rally to ensure you get the points that you achieved on the Saturday. So you may be thinking, okay, so there are points on offer for Saturday. Doesn't sound too bad. So how many points do you get for actually winning the rally, for example? Surely you should get more for winning the rally than what you would get for leading after Saturday, right? Well, logically you should, because you worked your arse off to get the win, and you should be awarded with a boatload of points. However, this is the FIA we are talking about, so logic on most occasions goes out of their heads. Instead, this is what you get for Sunday. Along with the power stage points, which has remained the same by the way, only the top 7 will receive points after Sunday, with first place receiving 7 points all the way down to 7th, who receives only 1 point. So basically, providing you finish the rally of course, you are getting less points after Sunday than you are after Saturday.
What? What the fuck?
Do you see how messed up that is? You could end up falling down the order after Sunday stages, but because you ended up in first place after Saturday, you will still receive 18 points, and you could end up having more points than the eventual winner, who potentially had to claw their way up through the order to get to that position, but still end up with less points than the driver who was first after Saturday. It makes no sense. But you know something? This isn't even the worst part. Yes, there's a worse part than what I've just said. Going back to the points you receive after the Sunday stages. Notice how I said after the Sunday stages and not after the rally. Well, that's because these points don't go towards your overall results.
Huh?
They instead go to the drivers who are fastest across the Sunday stages.
What the f*** is this piece of sh**?
Do you see how stupid this is? Now, the reason the FIA have done this is to ensure that the drivers are going flat out across Sunday and not cruising to the finish like some drivers do if they have a big lead after Saturday. But even this makes no sense. Say if you were leading the rally after Saturday, which meant you had 18 points hanging over your head provided that you finished the rally after Sunday, and you end up having not a great Sunday, which tumbles you down the leaderboard and prevents you from getting the highest amount of points available on Sunday, but still end up having the 5th quickest Sunday time, which gives you 3 points by the way, you could still walk away with having more points than the overall winner. The overall winner could have ended up being 5th after Saturday, which gave them a total of 8 points, and then went on to be the fastest across Sunday, which not only led to them winning the rally, but also gave them 7 points for being fastest across the Sunday stages. They will still end up having less points than the driver who was leading after Saturday. Do you see how messed up and confusing that is? And that's not even taking into account the power stage points that you get for being fastest on the final stage. Because even with the power stage points, the overall winner could still end up having less points than the driver who was leading after Saturday. It's so confusing that even when it came to writing this script, I was still trying to wrap my brain as to how this works and how to explain it in a clear and understandable way to you guys. And I'm not the only one confused, and it is also not just the fans either. Even the drivers are confused. 2019 World Champion Ott Tanak, who's returning to Hyundai in 2024, recently said that the new point system was confusing and said it would confuse things for regular fans. But it's not just the fact that it is confusing. What the FIA has done by implementing this point system, whether intentionally or not, is essentially punish success and award failure. And what they've done at the same time is made the idea of winning a rally redundant, because you don't get points anymore for the overall results. The points come from the overall leaderboard after Saturday, the fastest across the Sunday stages, and the fastest times on the power stage. Winning a rally now becomes just as meaningful as receiving a certificate for participating. It's meaningless, and it shouldn't be this way. Winning a rally should be celebrated like it's a big thing, and the driver who has won the rally should be awarded with the maximum amount of points for that weekend. But they don't anymore, and it makes the occasion of someone winning their first ever rally now redundant, because there's a chance it won't mean anything for where they place in the championship come the end of the rally. When Thierry Neuville said that the WRC needed to be re-energised, I don't think he meant this, even if this new point system does benefit him, given he's known for cracking under pressure whenever he's in a championship situation. The FIA, along with the WRC promoter, in their desperate attempt to try and make the sport exciting again, have instead created a system that punishes success. If anything, it makes the old BTCC class system that the BTCC used from 1958 to 1990 look viable. How on earth this point system got passed through in the first place, I will never know. I've been a fan of WRC for 2 decades now, and even though the sport has done some questionable and stupid things over the years, this for me tops the list. Their aim for implementing this new point system was to try and make the sport exciting and also to attract new fans in order to get the viewing figures up. However, it's safe to say they've ended up doing the complete opposite. They've ended up not only confusing fans who want to invest in the sport, but also confuse the fans they've already got, and even some have got to the point where they won't watch anymore. My brother is a huge fan of WRC and was actually excited for this season, given that we are going to have a new champion at the end of the season due to Calais being on a part-time schedule for this season. However, after this point system was dropped in December, that excitement went away, and that's a real shame. The sport has got all the ingredients needed of being great again, but it seems the FIA and even the WRC promoter are going about it the wrong way, and this point system will only add to that. Now, I was slightly hoping that the FIA would reverse its decision on this point system and go back to the one we've had since 2017. However, given that Rally Monte Carlo is in just under 2 weeks, which is the first round of the season, it looks like that isn't going to happen, and we are going to end up being stuck with this stupid and confusing point system. However, despite this, I do predict that it will be dropped after this season. Because fans are already confused about this, it will turn people away, and the WRC will have no choice but to revert for 2025, as even I believe it will get to a point where the people running WRC and in charge of the points allocations will get confused as well, especially if we end up with a title fight come the finale. But we will wait and see what happens. Now, I do have suggestions on a point system that I think could work for WRC and hopefully make things interesting should they not want to revert back. But even before this point system was announced, I had plans to do a video talking about how I would fix WRC. So I will leave those suggestions for that video, which will come out at the end of the first 4-week cycle that I am now doing for this channel. For anyone who isn't aware of my new upload schedule, link in the card on the top right. Anyways, enjoy Rally Monte Carlo and also enjoy the entirety of the 2024 World Rally Championship, even if the new point system will cloud that excitement.